Hello, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a little while. It's been probably a week, a little longer than usual. But we were planning on having our mock drafts in. That, of course, didn't happen. I got caught up in some other work I had to do. I'm assuming Ben as well. But we're back talking about a bunch of new news. A bunch of NBA players getting tested positive for coronavirus on their way to Orlando, where most of them currently are, and then our playoff predictions for the West, East, and ultimately the champion. So I guess I'll go ahead and start. 16 out of 302 players testing positive. I think that's what most people would have thought. I don't think anyone thought it'd be more than 25 or 30, but I didn't think anyone thought it'd be less than 5 or 10.
It's a rate of about 5%.
I've heard Alex Len, Jabari Parker,
Malcolm Brogdon.
Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah. So a couple guys, but that's not a positive way to start out this basketball journey. I guess you could call it. But I mean, I think everyone knew, but some guys would test positive. Because it's not like these guys have been just quarantining in their house all the time. I mean, they've been out with family, with friends, NBA runs, hooping in the gym with trainers. I mean,
some guys have been going to protests.
Yeah, you can't tell them what to do and what not to. Yeah, most of them have been going to protests. I think the NBA response to the protests has been amazing, to the Black Lives Matter movement, because basketball really has a huge impact on American culture and society, and a bunch of these guys have been doing some great things for racial injustice. And yeah, I mean, it's been a cool thing to watch for sure. All right, Ben, anything you got to say about the coronavirus test? Do you think it'd be about 16?
I think that the amount of players is probably what we should have expected, because they've been going along with their lives, maybe not fully, but they've gone to protests, they've been with family, they've been with friends, they've done all these workouts together. So that's a fine number. 16 is not too bad in my opinion, but they just have to be careful. Get those guys quarantined. Doesn't want to. If it spreads, that's what would hurt the chances of restarting the league. So you got to get those guys quarantined now. That's what I think about that.
Thinking for this season, I'm just going to be completely real. I don't know if it'll stick to schedule, right? Because you look at all these things changing like every other day, and I feel like at some point there'll be a lot of guys testing positive. Every team will have a guy down, a couple guys down at one point. And I just feel like the season won't. I don't think they'll be a champion. I just don't think they'll get to that point. I don't know. I mean, the other day, like a couple days ago, there were more cases than ever before.
Yeah, it's getting bad.
It's getting bad. Yeah, it's everyone. I mean, you can't keep. You gotta. People want their freedom back, of course, but like to some extent, I don't know. I don't know if sports is quite ready. There's also news. There will not be a vaccine till next June, so we have 11 more months. Because the FDA doubled down saying it is 18 months for a finalized vaccine. So a best case scenario, it's going to be next June. So it's going to be a while.
It's a lot of time left.
It's going to be a while. Yeah.
It's important to kind of get this number going down instead of going up, which is what it's been doing.
Yeah.
But NBA's plan is good if they actually follow it. If the players stay at the hotels, that's hard.
I don't think they will. I just don't think you have all these rich millionaires with all this status staying at their hotel, sitting in their hotel room.
That would be the only way to make it just safe. That's the only way, because if the guys are going out and then they're playing basketball against each other, it'll spread super quick, and there's no way they'll get a season in. And like if one guy in one team goes out, gets his entire team infected, basically that team's out of it. So I don't know how it'll work.
I want to say something really quickly though. I'm actually going to pull up. I'm going to share my screen really quickly here. The NBA standings, just so the viewers can see this. Um, I say we start in the West because the West is a lot more finalized, I feel like, than the East. You, of course, have the Lakers, Clippers at 1 and 2. I'm pretty sure that, I mean, the Lakers are 5, 6 games out. I think they'll keep that number 1 spot. A couple teams contending for that number 2 spot. I'd say mostly the Clippers and Nuggets. I think the Clippers will end up getting it. The Nuggets are an interesting team, though. I think they'll stay at 3. I think these 3 teams will stay where they are. But I think kind of below here will all get changed. I don't think the Jazz will stay here. I don't think the Thunder will. I think the Rockets might move up, take the Jazz's spot. I think these basically 4 through 7 will be moved around. I think the Mavericks could honestly go up to 4 as well. I think the Mavericks are better than the Rockets, Thunder, and Jazz. But I think the Rockets and Mavericks, who are sitting at 6 and 7, are better than the 4 and 5 team. But hey, I mean, I think it's kind of set in stone. These teams will play each other in whatever order because 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5.
We know
That's wrong. But looking at number 8 is also kind of finalized. You have the Grizzlies. I mean, 3.5 games back are the Portland Trailblazers. Trevor Ariza has already said he won't be back, but Jusuf Nurkic and Hassan Whiteside will be back. They will be back and playing. So 2 starters there will be back. You lose 1. But I think that's positive for the Trailblazers. I think if Trevor Ariza would have said he's coming back, I think they could have overtaken the Grizzlies. But I have to say, the West is so stacked. I think the Pelicans could be a 6 or 7 seed in the East. I think the Kings could get a playoff spot, and the Spurs in the East. Even the Suns. T-Wolves and Warriors both suck. But I don't know. I think there are definitely going to be some interesting matchups panning out in the West. But I'll go to the East after I hear your opinion, Ben. Ben, what's your take on the Western Conference playoff picture?
Well, I think it's kind of locked the Lakers. The Lakers are going to have the 1 seed. They're the team to beat, in my opinion. And then I think the Clippers will hold on to that 2 seed. Kawhi and Paul George have had time to rest. I think they'll be healthy. I think they'll be good. I don't love the Nuggets, and I don't love the Jazz. So that I could see both those teams dropping, but I think the Nuggets are in a good enough place where they're going to stick in the 3 seed. And then I also think that the Mavs could overtake a team or 2. I love the Mavericks. They have a really awesome offense. But the thing I'm really looking forward to seeing is how the 8 and 9 seed battle shapes out, because the Grizzlies have the large lead in the standings, but the Pelicans, it seems like the Pelicans and the Trailblazers have all the momentum. I mean, the Trailblazers are getting healthy again, and the Pelicans have Zion, who has apparently been working out throughout this quarantine, and he's really still locked in. So I could see both the Pelicans or the Trailblazers overtaking the Grizzlies or just beating them in the 8-9 playoff. So I like that. I would love to see like a Pelicans Grizzlies 8-9, because that would be Ja versus Zion. Yeah. So we'll see how that happens.
The more I think about it, the more I value experience. The more I value leadership and veteran play. That's why I have the Lakers as my NBA champion this year. Clippers still have veteran experience, don't get me wrong. But I think LeBron's presence in a time like this, with all these young guys, getting them to step up, getting them to deal with adversity will be key. So, talking about my NBA Finals prediction, I have Lakers and I have Bucks, but I have Lakers coming out on top. I guess we move to the East now. Remember, not all 32 teams will be there, only 24. So basically scrap the Bulls, Knicks, Pistons, Hawks, Cavs. I'm pretty sure in the West it is, of course, the top 8. And I'm pretty sure it goes down to Spurs, but the Suns just missed it.
I think the Suns actually got in. I'm pretty sure the Suns got in.
You might be right. But in the East, I don't think really anyone has an East team winning the finals this year. Of course, an East team will make the finals. I have the Bucks as that team.
I think some people have the Bucks winning just based on their dominance. They've been
Yeah,
really
I don't know. I really think they might be the best offensive team, putting up nearly 119 points a game. That's pretty crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Look at the Lakers and the Clippers. They both averaged pretty far lower than that. 2.5 for the Clippers, 4.4 for the Lakers. That's a sizable difference. That's a sizable
You have to
difference.
account for the Bucks playing a division where they play the Bulls, the Cavs, and the Pistons a lot more to play. So they get to just eat up the Bulls. Like horrible defense, Pistons, horrible defense.
True.
Cavs. So
and they're 13-1 in their division for a reason. Yes.
Yeah.
Toronto Raptors. I think the Raptors will be a dynasty in a few years. I think Nick Nurse is going to be a cultivating NBA coach, if not one of the greatest of all time. I really like Nick Nurse. From being G League Coach of the Year to winning the finals last year. I think he's an amazing coach. Without Kawhi, Pascal Siakam really stepped up. They might have one of the best benches of all time. If you look at it, OJ Anunoby, a bunch of good players there. Celtics, I think, are solid. I think the Celtics will never really contend. I don't know how well the Celtics would do with this. They don't have a crazy amount of older, experienced players, but they do have some. But I just don't think they have enough to get over that hump. I like the Heat a lot more than I like the Celtics. I think the Heat might actually overtake the Celtics for that third spot. I think it will go Bucks, Raptors, Heat. But we'll see. I think the Heat are at least a top 3 team. Maybe even I honestly think the Heat might be better than the Raptors, but I don't know. Ben, I'll definitely be interested to see what you say about that. But Pacers, Sixers, I think they're both in solid spots. I think they'll stay where they are. They're tied currently.
The Sixers are disappointing.
Nets at 7 and Magic at 8. I don't think there's a chance the Wizards or Hornets make it. I think this is kind of set in stone. The Wizards are like 5.5 games back. The Magic are in Orlando. I don't know. I think they'll still stay how it is. I think the Hornets are better than the Magic. I think the Nets, though, getting back a bunch of key guys, they had a whole bunch of injuries. I think the Nets could possibly get over 500 and get on some good momentum going into the playoffs. But, Ben, I'm curious to see what you have to say about this.
Well, I think this year the East was actually it was better than what I expected. The Bucks were one of the best teams.
Your expectations.
It exceeded my expectations. I was trying to find that and I couldn't. The Bucks were really great. The Raptors, obviously, Nick Nurse has done a great job there. And I think the Celtics, Jason Tatum was taking that next step right before the season got canceled. So I really felt bad about that because he really was starting to play like a top 10 NBA player. We'll see if he continues that in the next few games. I watch the Heat a lot because they have one of my favorite players, Duncan Robinson. And I like them. I just don't think that their success is going to keep I feel like they have really overachieved this year. So I think that I don't think they'll fall, but I think they'll stick in that 4th spot. And then I think the Sixers should overtake the Pacers just based on talent. They're just much more talented. If they ever put it together, they could actually challenge the Bucks in a series. And then the bottom 3, the Nets are definitely better than the rest of the teams in that group. The Magic, I don't know how they got in the playoffs. They're one of the most boring teams in the NBA. But I don't think there's any way that the Wizards will catch them because they're just too far behind. So I think that this top 8 is going to stick to where it is. The Bucks will blow out the Magic. I think the Raptors will probably blow out the Nets. The only close first-round matchup I could see is Celtics-Sixers, honestly, if the standings stay the way they are. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a boring first round in the East.
You might be right. Well, I think a lot of things will be switched up. I think veteran play and experience will definitely come more into effect than usual. But I'm very excited to see this NBA season kick off. over Zoom, I should say. It's going to be interesting for sure, but it'll be exciting. It'll give us something to watch, give us something to think about on the daily, to review on the podcast. It's going to be cool for sure.
Goes. And I'll add my finals prediction. I also have Bucks Lakers. I have the same as Brad. I have the Lakers beating the Bucks in the finals. I think it'll be a good finals, though.
I think it will as well. I think it'll really test Giannis as a player, because we all know the Raptors shut him down in the paint last year. But I'm with the help of Serge Ibaka and Kawhi, Marc Gasol as well. But I'm excited to see if Giannis can shoot it from deep, because that was what didn't get the Bucks to the finals last year. Was his inability to shoot from outside, get that step back shot going. So I'm curious to see if he's been working on that through this pandemic. And I think whoever they play in the semis, who I'm assuming it's going to be the Heat or Raptors, we'll see. I personally don't want to see a Bucks Raptors rematch. I'd rather see a Heat Bucks. I think that'd be even more entertaining. I haven't watched as many Heat games as I wanted to, but
the Heat have beat the Bucks twice this year.
But the Bucks do have the best winning percentage, which also goes back to their conference. But still, I don't know.
I mean, the Lakers still are 49-14. That's pretty impressive.
Very solid record, yes.
So we'll see what happens. I guess we'll have to, as it gets closer to the season, we'll see if any more players get cases. Hopefully they can keep the season going.
I want to talk about the draft before we end the episode here. There's some news that Ayo Dosunmu might stay for a third year in Champaign-Urbana.
Really? I thought he was almost locked.
So that's Kofi Cockburn is in Champaign currently.
Is he at the campus?
He's at campus. Ayo Dosunmu, I do not think is on campus. Saddiq Bey is actually at campus, which is kind of weird. But I'm excited to see what happens.
And also,
I definitely seeing these mock drafts, Kofi and Ayo are being really, really slept on. I have not seen Kofi in the top 70, top 75. I haven't seen Ayo Dosunmu in the top 45, top 50. And Kofi Cockburn won Freshman of the Year, didn't he?
Yep.
This is insane. And it's not like he played prep school. He's an old 20-year-old who just started playing. He redshirted, whatever. This is his first year on a team that did not have high expectations. And him and Ayo carried that Illini team to a good seeding in the Big Ten. So I don't know. I think if Kofi and Ayo were to stay, they pair up with Adam Miller, Andre Cubelo, the point guard from the Dominican Republic. Actually, I don't know. I think he's from Puerto Rico. Excuse me. But then you get Adam Miller from Morgan Park.
Top 25.
You get Georgie, the power forward from somewhere in Europe. Yeah. I mean, that might be the best starting five in college basketball. If that were to stay, if those two were to stay, which I doubt, I wouldn't be surprised if Kofi returned. I think Ayo's going to turn pro. Reportedly is 100%. I don't know if that's true. But I'm going to pull up these preseason basketball rankings very quickly. Let's go to Sports Illustrated.
That's one of the ones I looked at a lot when I was.
Yeah. Okay. So let me share the screen. Give me a second. Here we go. And I did not say this because Villanova's here. I actually did not know this. Villanova at 1. So is set to bring back his entire team. Okay, so they have Villanova at number 1 without Saddiq Bey. Very interesting. Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Very dominant last year as a freshman. I bet you he can be a lottery pick if they have a strong year. And he's a strong March. Colin Gillespie, typical Villanova point guard, reminds me a lot of Kyle Lowry and Ryan Arcidiacono. Justin Moore, very, very excited about him. I have a feeling he'd also leave after next year, but he might stay another year. Plays like Sadiq Bey, but he also plays like a Dante DiVincenzo. You got Caleb Daniels, who averaged 17 points. I'm pretty sure in his sophomore year at Tulane before sitting out a year last year. And then Brian Antoine, who redshirted last year. He had some injury problems, but he's poised for a strong year. I think the quarantine actually helped Brian Antoine. But then Ole Miss Bay. At center, we're definitely going to be lacking. We have Demir Crosby-Roundtree. I don't think he's gotten better. I don't think he's gotten worse since his freshman year was solid. But I think Jeremiah Robinson-Earl can play the 5. I think Villanova is very, very strong. They have a dude named Cole Swider who's amazing. I think he's one of the most underrated players in college basketball. But I know all y'all don't care about Villanova. This isn't a Villanova show. So we'll move on. Gonzaga at 2. Philippe Petrovouv left, right?
Yeah.
So same with Corey and Joel. Did they leave as well?
I'm pretty sure Corey left. I don't know if Philippe Petrusev left. I'll look it up.
Okay. Could you look this up then while we're
I got it
doing this?
So
okay, thank you.
I don't know if he's actually gone, but
Jalen Suggs, yes,
Jalen Suggs he's so good.
May opt to forego college. It's too late for that now. Actually, it's not too late, but
no, man, no way. I thought he was for sure.
Baylor, Jared Butler left, right?
Yeah, Jared Butler left. So
Davion Mitchell, Mark Vitale, Tristan Clark is good.
They're still good.
Green transfer Adam Flagler. Presbyterian sucks. They play nobodies.
Yeah, I don't think Baylor should be 3rd. That's ridiculous.
I think they also had a rough end of the year, but Virginia, I think Mamadi Nadike is the best player. I think that's definitely going to hurt him. Sam Hauser will definitely help. I don't know. Kai Clark is decent. Casey Merrill and Jay Huff aren't that good there. Creighton. So, okay, if I were to have a March Madness prediction, I don't think you can ever predict the top 4. I think there's always going to be one lower seed, but I think if I were to predict 3 teams, it'd be Creighton, Nova, and Illinois if Kofi Cockburn comes back. Yes, Illinois.
No way.
I don't like freshman teams. I don't. That's why I don't think Duke and Kentucky will make it.
They're not that good.
Oh, no. Excuse me. I said that wrong. I completely forgot about Iowa. Yeah. I completely disregard the Illini making the Final Four. I bet you they can make Elite 8. No. I have Iowa debate maybe winning the national championship. Not lying. Luke Garza might have the most dominant year next year ever. I'm pretty sure he's staying. Could you look that up, Ben?
The scariest thing about Iowa is that everyone's coming back. They have their entire starting lineup coming back.
Exactly. And they closed out the year decently well. They actually lost Illinois in their last game.
They were going to be like a 6th seed this year, but next year they could easily be like a top 5 team.
No, yeah, and they're like all juniors and seniors. They are scary. And Luke Garza is the best player in college basketball.
Yeah, next year he will be for sure. I'm pretty sure.
He's going to be.
Screen's a little
okay,
blurry.
So a week ago, it would be hard to walk away from Jereen Senior's season. I think he'll stay. I don't know. So
I hope he does.
Joe Westcamp, he's staying. Jordan Bohannon, I know, is staying. Incremental improvements defensively. Also wanting heavy use I don't know. We will see. I think Michigan State will be decent. It definitely depends if Xavier Tillman comes back.
I don't think
Joey Hauser, I was trying to say that. I think Michigan State will be solid as well. I think the Big Ten will be very, very good. But I think Wisconsin's getting overhyped. I think Michigan State, Iowa, and Illinois will be the top 3 teams in the Big Ten. But I have to say, college basketball next year will be a heck of a lot better than it was this year.
It should be.
I can say that with full honesty. I don't think college basketball was that good last year. I really don't. I think that was probably the worst college basketball season.
In terms of like top level teams.
Maybe
Yeah.
like 2012, the year Louisville won. 2013.
I mean, I liked it though because it was like every team had a shot. If the tournament actually got played, it would have been like a free for all. Like I wouldn't have had any.
Yeah, it really would have been. Yeah, I had Michigan State winning it all this last year. For my early prediction, I Michigan State, but they were probably going to be a 2 or 3 seed. But besides that, I think that's going to bring it to the end here. Ben, before we go, we'll list off our final 4. I have Nova, Iowa, Creighton, and then the unknown could be Illinois, could be Baylor, could be Michigan State. Couple teams. Ben, who do you have?
I have Creighton. I hope Nova doesn't, or I guess Nova probably will make the Final 4. Creighton, Nova, Kansas, and Gonzaga.
Gonzaga and Kansas? I don't have Kansas there at all. I think Kansas is going to be awful next year.
You can't bet against Kansas. That's literally like betting against the Patriots.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and also one last thing.
I guess you're betting against all that money that
I'm just going to shout out Isaiah Barnes chose to go to Michigan.
Yes. I forgot to text you about that.
So,
I completely forgot to text you about that. That is also something I'd like to talk about. This dude, less than 2 months ago, got offered by Michigan. Didn't release a top 10, didn't release a top 7, top 5, top 4, top 3. She's like, you know what? Let's just announce University of Michigan. I think it was not a bad move for him. If you look at it, I think he probably would have ended up at a team like I thought if he were to release a top 3, I was thinking it would be Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois. I was pretty confident those 3 teams had the upper hand. His teammate and one of his best friends, Chris Hodges, is committed to Wisconsin. I think he's a typical Wisconsin player. 3 and deep, can shoot it from deep. Reminds me of what's his name? He was a good college player, but an awful pro player.
Did he go to Wisconsin?
Yeah, I think this was his senior year, maybe the year before.
Nigel Hayes?
No, I was not Frank Kaminsky either.
Sam Decker?
Yeah, Sam Decker. He reminds me a lot of Sam Decker. Who was actually a first-round pick by the Clippers, but
top 15 pick.
Illinois, his uncle went there. That was kind of his first big offer. If you count, other than Loyola Chicago, if you count that, I don't really count that. Like Power 5 offer. And then Michigan. It's Michigan. They're kind of corrupt, which I don't know.
There's no real evidence of that recently.
No real evidence of that, but I don't know. I thought he was going to go to Illinois.
I actually did too. I was kind of shocked when I
was shocked as well. And he did it out of nowhere. A couple days prior to that, on like his Snapchat or Instagram story, someone's like, "When are you releasing your top 5?" He says, "Soon. I'll keep you posted, or I'll keep."
And then he's just like,
he's like, you know what? Screw it. Whole on committed University of Michigan, whatever. But good for him. He moved up the rankings too. He's ranked 85th in the country now, which is impressive.
It's a good recruit for Michigan, I think.
And then something you'll also like, Harvard, Luis Lesmond from Notre Dame Christian Prep. Is Isaiah Barnes' teammate on the Illinois Wolves Under Armour team. He's ranked 87th in the country, and he's a 4-star committed to Harvard. So
Tommy Amaker gets some good recruits.
But that might be like the best recruit Harvard's gotten in a while.
I thought
up there.
I thought Bryce Aiken was really high, but maybe
I thought he was like 90.
Well, I'll look it up. I haven't even heard of this guy, but I'm
Louis
glad that
Lesmond,
Harvard
he's
got
from France. Wait, Bryce, you might be right actually. I think he might have been like 60.
So, yeah,
Isn't he transferring though?
He's transferring. So is obviously Seth Towns.
To where?
I don't know where Bryce Aiken. I know Seth Towns is going to Ohio State. Let's look up Bryce Aiken.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Bryce Aiken, 86th.
So
Oh, he's one lower.
one higher. Okay, so
Everyone thinks he's going to Seton Hall.
Bryce Aiken transfers to Seton Hall. All right. Well,
Wow.
that's a good transfer for Seton Hall. Bryce Aiken was a top player in the Ivy League, and he's actually talented.
Well,
The
Ben,
Ivy League
another
was
great
full of-
episode. Thank you for joining. Yeah. Ivy League's getting good. Ben, good episode. Thank you for joining, and we'll see y'all later.
See you
Peace.
guys next time. Thanks for having me.